Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh. Hello, my comic book friends. Oh, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories in the art. Well, this time, just want to show you a stack of stuff. These are trade paperbacks of X-Men stuff. So it's trade and graphic novels. Some I may have shown, I know I've shown some of them before in different context. And some of them I want to bring back again later and do an in-depth look at it. But it's just a stack of X-Men. Of course, X-Men, one of the hottest Marvel comic book properties. Maybe not quite as much now, but especially through the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, especially with the popularity of the movies. Which was in no small part as a result of the popularity of the 1997 animated X-Men series, and which now has been rebooted. Of course, I haven't seen that because it's on streaming. Of course, X-Men originally created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and been reworked many times, and have had some good stuff and some not so good stuff over the years. Of course, you're talking about 60 years of history, so not everything's great. And I love the movies. I only got to see some of the original animated series, and never saw the whole thing. But speaking of the animated series, I want to show you this. This is a graphic novel of X-Men Animation Special, and it's Pride of the X-Men. But this is not from the 97 animated series. This is from 1990, and it is based on a pilot episode for an X-Men series that didn't take. And it is just still pictures with captions and dialogue and stuff, but still pictures from the actual show itself. This is interesting. I liked it. I liked it. I used to have it on videotape, and it's probably on YouTube somewhere. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And but you can see there all the images are animation from the show. But one weird thing is they gave Wolverine an Australian accent. Like, Wolverine, Australian. Maybe if they called him Dingo or Tasmanian Tiger or something, but not Wolverine. He's a Canadian. Although, of course, later the actor who played Hugh Jackman, who later played Wolverine, was Australian, and he didn't know when he was cast with the part. He didn't know what a Wolverine was. But I want to do an in-depth on this sometime. Okay. Then here we have the Uncanny X-Men Masterworks, which I showed briefly in another video not too long ago. Of course, this is the first 5 issues of the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby run on the original X-Men run from 60 years ago. It's always fun reading. And then here we have, I don't have the first volume. This is the Essential Classic X-Men Volume 2. So this is from X-Men 25 through 53, and including Avengers 53. And featuring the work of various creators, of course, black and white. I wish they still had these, these they're getting harder to find, the Essentials and DC Spotlight, in favor of the more expensive and cost prohibitive reprint volumes. Because this is the kind of stuff I like for the reading, and I've learned that I can get a better appreciation for the artwork in black and white, where I can see what I couldn't see before. This is largely, but not entirely, of course, written by Roy Thomas, and a lot of the artwork is done by Warner Roth. That's what it was, Warner Roth, and various others. Here we go to some Don Heck, I think. George Tuska. But that's fine. Nice, big, fat volume. A lot of reading in that one. And of course, I've had these for years, and some of them I've never got completely read. And here is Marvel Masterworks, another volume 2, X-Men, and this is featuring the Phoenix Saga part of it. And of course, Chris Claremont, I think, was the writer. This covers the X-Men 101 to 110. Of course, this is after the reboot. I see some Dave Cockrum and maybe some John Byrne in there. I don't know. Full color. And this is a Barnes & Noble edition. I didn't know. It even specified, right? Barnes & Noble edition. So, I don't know if that has any effect on collectability, and it doesn't matter to me as long as I can read it. And here we have X-Men Children of the Atom. This is great Steve Rude painted cover, and Steve Rude did some of the interior art. This is, of course, reprinting the 6-issue miniseries from... I just looked at this. Around 2000, 2001, something like that. I've forgotten the actual year. I just looked at it. And this one, just this morning, the spine cracked, and and part of the some of the pages came out. Big chunk of the pages came out, and I had to re-glue it. So I have to be careful with it. And that was probably because it was out in the garage and it was cold, and I opened it, and that cracked it. And here we have Marvel Comics, The Savage Land, featuring the X-Men, Spider-Man, and of course, since it's Savage Land, Kazar and Zabu. And this is written by Chris Claremont, featuring the art of several different artists, and if I remember correctly, this was reprinted from a storyline that was run in several issues of Marvel Fanfare, if I remember correctly, since it's an Al Milgrom edited it. Okay. And I think I showed this one not too long ago. Is X-Men the movie. This is reprinting the both the. This is from 2000. From reprinting the comic adaptation of the first X-Men movie, as well as some really nice artwork in there, as well as then backed up reprinting some other X-Men stories that are somewhat relevant to the movie story. And then here we have Ultimate X-Men Volume 3 World Tour, and I had more of these. My wife had several of them. She got, well, of course, this is Ultimates. Doesn't tie into the regular one. But my wife had several of these. She was getting these X-Men, Ultimate X-Men, and Ultimate Spider-Man trade paperbacks. And she got several volumes and reading. She was so excited, but she got so PO'd that the story, there's never an ending. There's never an ending to the story. And which is, of course, a hook to get you to buy the next issue and or volume. So she got so ticked off, she got rid of them. Stopped buying them and then got rid of the ones she had, and I didn't get to snatch them. So, and then we're going to finish it. Whoops. I'm going to finish off with another bit about animation, because this is, I did an in-depth part of this. X-Men Adventures. I hate this cover. It's a really poorly designed cover, I think. X-Men Adventures, reprinting Night of the Sentinels and Enter Magneto, adapted from the episodes of the animated series, and in fact, at the time I preferred reading X-Men Adventures comics rather than the regular X-Men titles, because they had to actually have a concluding story arc, because it was originally done for animation. So there was usually 1 or 2 issues per episode that they adapted. But sometimes they wound up being longer than that, because they had episodes that were several parts long sometimes. But still, because at that time I read some of the X-Men Adventures, I read some of the regular X-Men title, and I vastly preferred these because the stories were more coherent and actually had to go somewhere. So that is all that I've got to share with you this time about featuring the X-Men. So, thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Do leave your comments down below. And remember, comics are art.